This is episode 11 of Politically Charged. Today is Wednesday, July 26th. You'll be hearing this on Thursday, July 27th. My name is Emily. No, it's not. Still Jack Berlin. Today I had on the show Emily Adams, who is actually a pretty good friend of mine back from high school down here in Naples. She currently serves as the treasurer for college Dems at her college, Florida Southern College. I don't know why my cadence is so weird on these things. She's also the president of the local chapter at Florida Southern of Generation Action, which advocates for pro-Planned Parenthood policies. It's really a cool organization that I actually didn't know all that much about until she told me she was a part of it. But she does a much better job than I ever could of explaining its missions, its goals, her involvement in it. It's actually really interesting to listen to. We talked everything from the latest Republican healthcare fails. We talked a little bit about Trump's new ban on transgender individuals serving in the military in any capacity, which I think is a complete load of crap, and really everybody should. And then how we think the Democratic Party can move forward. Maybe not so much of a focus on trying to prove ourselves to be so much smarter than the average Republican, or really any Republican at all, and put just a little bit more focus on things like unity and togetherness, for lack of a better word. So either way, I'm here, Emily's here. It's going to be a great episode. I love this episode, actually. So go ahead, sit back, relax, and let's get this show on the road. All right, Emily.
Hello.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Oh. I'm Emily. I am a senior at Florida Southern College. I met Jack in high school, and his mom actually went to Florida Southern too, so go Mocs. I'm the current treasurer of the College Democrats, and I am also the president of Generation Action, which is a Planned Parenthood affiliate organization.
I don't know if it's the biggest news of the day, but it's pretty big. Trump banning transgender individuals from serving in the military in any capacity. I know how I feel about it. I think it's pretty safe to say that you probably feel the same way, but I'll give you the first crack at it.
Well, I read the news on Twitter. Of course, I saw his tweets, and which Twitter made me automatically follow him because I was following Obama's POTUS account, so now I have to follow Trump's.
All right, it's only right.
And yeah, my stomach just dropped. Like, I mean, if somebody wants to defend their country, you should let them. There's so many facets that go into this. First of all, if somebody wants to serve their country, you should let them. But second, like, if there's a draft, how does one determine, like, somebody could say that they're transgender just to get out of the draft? So how do you determine that? And then another part of it is also, like, people are so upset about this, but then there's also so many other atrocities going on to transgender people and other queer people. Like, kind of, why are we so upset about this, but then we're not defending them in other cases as well?
Right, that's a good point. And
Those
I hadn't
are, like,
thought of
my three big things.
I hadn't thought of that. People are gonna, if a draft ever comes back up and this, I don't know, a directive is still in place, people are gonna use that as a way to get out of it.
Yeah. I only thought of it because I had a friend that tweeted, and I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, that unintended, talk about unintended consequences.
Yeah.
But the other good point you made, why is it that we care so much about this, like, this one issue? Obviously, under Obama, there was much more attention paid to the issues, but why this one? Why is this one blown up like this? Other things have gone on in this administration to kind of take shots at LGBT people. Why do you think it's this one issue?
It's people, I don't know. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but a lot of people just don't necessarily care unless it affects them and their freedoms. So, I mean, if they're willing to have somebody else to die for them,
Right.
and they don't have to do it, then you know what? They'll fight for that person to do it for them. So I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it's kind of the hallmark of Trump's administration so far. Stuff that maybe would have flown under the rug in past administrations, it gets blown way out of proportion. And I've said it on like other episodes. Democrats, or really anybody who criticizes the Trump administration for their actions, is there kind of like let me bounce it off you. Is there kind of more merit to picking your things that you really go after? Like, this administration is so filled with scandal and controversy, you can't really jump on everything, or you risk drowning out the one big thing that could change everything.
Yeah, this is something that I've actually been struggling with like my activism, because, you know, did we have AP Psych together?
I don't know if we had it together, but we had it the same year.
Yeah. Well, we learned about the foot in the door phenomenon. You ask for a little, they say yes, then you can ask for more. And that I kind of see it the same way with picking your battles. Like, first pick a big battle that you know you can win, and then go after something a little bit smaller. And the way that goes with the Trump is, I mean, yeah, something like this is going to get a lot of attention, and a lot of people are going to be angry that he's not allowing transgender people to fight for their country. But then we can take that momentum and apply it to saying, like, better treatment of transgender people in prisons, and just other things like that. So, I mean, take the momentum and then go somewhere else with it.
Okay, so you think it's more like these little, not to minimize this topic, this issue, because it's huge, and it's ridiculous that it's even an issue, but winning relatively smaller battles like this compared to something like healthcare or the Russia investigation, winning a little battle is going to help build momentum.
I wasn't even thinking about it in comparison to those.
Yeah, compared to those, it's just like it's inconsequential.
Yeah.
But you think winning the little battles is going to help win the bigger battles?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a
I
don't
know. I don't know if it helps us to kind of like just pick our spots, not go after everything. Though this is definitely something that needed to be jumped on.
Yeah, I have considered that before, and there's no easy way to go about it, because really everything matters. You're going to have to go after everything to get what you want.
Right.
So,
yeah, picking your spots doesn't really work so well in politics.
No. But we did forget to bring up one thing that made me upset, and you too.
Already?
Was about how what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh. How Trump said it was a matter of cost to the military.
Oh my God.
And yet the military spending on Viagra is 5 times more than it would be to help transgender people transition. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, you sent that to me earlier, and my reaction now is the same as it was then, like 3 hours ago. I still don't know how to respond. That's it's such a ridiculous issue by itself. But then you throw out a stat like that, and it kind of puts it more into perspective that is more important than allowing somebody's orientation.
And I mean, it's not to put this on the same level, but the same thing with an extreme amount of spending on Viagra compared to another thing is with contraceptives. Like, there's so much more spending on contraceptives or on Viagra than there is on contraceptives. And it's just like, why?
Yeah, it's one of those things.
It just blows me away.
You can really use Viagra in like anything, any conversation, any debate, to just kind of blow up the entire debate. The amount of money that the U.S. government spends on that kind of stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
but I don't really know if that's Trump's fault, but we can definitely put that on him.
No, it's not.
No, we're going to put it on him, though.
Thanks, Trump.
Other big news of the day, seems like every day healthcare is in the news. Senate Republicans failed twice today to pass a repeal then replace bill and the AHCA, which was the much maligned Trump care.
Yeah.
Both of these options.
And they even had little Johnny McCain on their side.
All right.
With his health care and all.
Personally, yeah, that's a good point. Personally, I liked it. I like that he came out and said that. I don't know really what kind of weight that's going to hold, because there's a lot of there's a lot of Republicans willing to say it, but when it comes to actually standing up to the Trump administration, they don't exactly do it. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I also don't really get the part of his speech where he said that they're on equal footing with the president. That part didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. That's kind of where he lost me.
No.
But I liked it. You hated it?
I didn't even watch the speech.
All right, then I'm just going to mark you down as hating it.
Okay, cool. Probably accurate.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe assumption. Staying on healthcare, they're going to have to come up with a new bill, probably Friday morning. The last two they've proposed, repeal then replace, results in 32 million more people uninsured. The AHCA results in 22 million more uninsured, mostly Medicaid. Next up is what they're calling a skinny repeal, which is basically just rolling back some of the individual and employer mandates of Obamacare, ACA. What the hell? How long until healthcare dies? Until we can just count the Republicans as taking their L and walking away?
Until 2020, fingers crossed.
Hopefully 2018.
Or maybe even 2018.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Hopefully Eric Trump runs for something. How great would that be?
Oh, God. It would be great until he gets elected, too.
Yeah, that would be the downside of it, that he'd probably win.
Yeah.
Though I do
man.
I heard on, what's it called? Pod Save America.
Oh, yeah, he's meeting
yesterday.
with the RNC.
Yeah, he's meeting with the RNC to come up with messaging.
Oh. Yeah, show me how to win.
Who?
I liked
the
John
RNC?
Lovitz impersonation.
Yeah. He kills that. His Seb Gorka one is crazy, too. But who the hell in the RNC was like, hey, you know what? You know who we need to go to for messaging for 2018? Eric Trump. He's shown himself to be invaluable at this kind of stuff.
Oh, invaluable with his father's campaign and presidency, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely the... Well, now that...
he's at the forefront.
Yeah, well, now that Donnie Trump Jr. is doing his best to do a one-man takedown of the Trump presidency, Eric's kind of climbing the ranks.
Eric's the new golden boy.
Yeah.
But nobody will ever replace Kushner.
Oh, no. Kushner is the son Trump wishes he had. Instead, he has Eric and Donnie Boy.
Yep.
So what I wanted to get to with healthcare mostly is the Republicans being hell-bent, well, mostly with you, the Republicans being hell-bent on harming Planned Parenthood in some way. Yeah. I've tried to make the case before. I don't know if I do the best job. I know you're more heavily involved in the activism side of it. So I wanted to kind of get your take or your little spiel on why Planned Parenthood is so important, though everybody should know why.
Yeah, well, okay. First of all, little story. My mom, when she was in her 20s, she was a single mother. Well, not quite yet. I don't know if this happened before or after she had me, but she was in her 20s, she didn't really have an excessive income, obviously. And she went into Planned Parenthood just to get everything checked out, and they found cancerous cells. I think it was in her cervix. And so with the help of Planned Parenthood and her insurance, she was able to get that taken care of. So who knows if my mother would even be here today if it wasn't for Planned Parenthood. So I was like sharing that story when telling people about why I like Planned Parenthood.
Right. That kind of helps put a spotlight on all the other stuff they do, which I'm sure you were getting to. I just wanted to jump in there because I have a big ego and wanted to hear my voice.
Of course. And so, yeah, that's like a huge part of what they do. Just preventative care is their biggest thing. And working with them, I've seen that. I mean, yes, contraception's great. Having safe sex and safe relationships is awesome. But in the abortion, yes, if you need to have one, it's important that you have access to it. But federal funding does not go towards abortions. And I don't know how many times I have to tell people that.
It's really not
so
that
frustrating.
And they try to put that out there as much as possible, and people still can't figure it out.
Yes. And when you make abortion illegal, unsafe abortions happen, and more deaths result.
Right. It's
and
not
it doesn't result in just the bundle of cells in your stomach dying. It results in the mother dying as well. So,
yeah, it's not like, it's kind of like the same thing as marijuana being illegal. Making it illegal is not going to stop people from using it. It's kind of an odd way to talk about abortion, but it's like that's exactly what's going to happen. People are just going to find a way around it, like they have with marijuana.
Yeah,
I've always been on like oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to transition back to the other services that they offer. Like, it's not even that there is a line item amount that goes to Planned Parenthood every year. The money that goes to Planned Parenthood goes through Medicare. And so, yeah, that was not worded eloquently, but I hope you get the point.
Well, hey, look, we here at Politically Charged, some of us have a lot of trouble with speaking. Some of my past guests are just downright awful at speaking.
Not going to mention any names.
Not going to mention any names, Ken and Talco, but
Ken,
you did a pretty good job. If they hear this, they're going to be mad, but I can live with that. All right, to me, like, being raised Catholic, I would probably still consider myself Catholic. You're taught from the get-go. Safe sex, abortion is awful. Right to life, I think is their catchphrase.
Yeah, don't be safe.
Right, exactly. And so that's kind of like, I've struggled with it. The idea of abortions, I don't, because it's one thing, science versus religion. To me, where I've kind of landed is, what was I going to say? Oh, Bill Clinton said it, safe, legal, and rare. I would love for it to not happen, but I would much rather it be safe by trained professionals rather than people doing what they used to do to get an abortion.
Yeah.
And the government has no right to right, the government has no right to legislate what somebody can do with their body.
Yeah.
So you put it together much better than I did.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could do that. There's
it's
something
like
else I wanted to say, but I totally forgot.
All right, then I'll continue with my little spiel.
Yeah.
Well, damn it, now I forgot my little spiel.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
All right, perfect.
Another thing that Planned Parenthood does that through Generation Action, I've been so fortunate to have this, is that they don't just offer these services to women, they also offer education. And that's another preventative service. Like, I think our healthcare should go in the preventative direction instead of the, I don't know how to say it, but after the fact treatment, I guess.
Treatment, yeah.
Yeah. And we went to one or 2 years ago, we went to Tallahassee and lobbied to, I believe it was the House of Representatives, about the Real Education for Healthy Youth Act, which was basically just saying abstinence-only sex education does not help, and we should actually learn, like, how sex works and how to do it safely. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, I went to a private middle school, did not learn anything there. I went to 6th and 7th at a private school, and then 8th grade I went to public school. 8th grade I just learned about, like, the monthly cycle, and then in my freshman year of high school I just learned about STDs, and it was all scare tactics. So there's more to life than those.
Yeah, at my private little Catholic middle school, I think we just watched a video once a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. And then they were just like, you know what? You're good. Just be fearful of God.
He did with this video from the 80s about being abstinent.
Yeah, and then they had, I want to say they had like somebody from the diocese. It was like a nun. I think it was a nun. So you're sitting there like, what the hell? And there's just nothing you can do about it. You're stuck watching this video, and that's supposed to give you everything.
Oh, yeah.
So that obviously
so, yeah, we
hasn't
lobbied
worked.
for education, and then I've lobbied for other things in D.C. twice. No, just once in D.C. now. But, yeah. They help you have the opportunity to get involved in politics, and that's honestly why I'm involved in politics now, because I was a biology major for 2 years, and now I'm political science.
Oh, well,
So
there you
thanks,
go.
Planned Parenthood.
That's actually a perfect segue. I hadn't planned on talking about this, but you just said you got involved in part because Planned Parenthood was the idea of it was important to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk with somebody next week who's very involved in youth engagement. And I've talked to Lou. I think Lou, I talked to him about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's so important for somebody like me, you, really anybody our age, to get involved now while we're young and we have all this other stuff going on and other stuff we could be doing? Why should we get involved in politics? Or at least causes that matter
we are
to
the
us.
future. I feel like a lot of people do get involved young. It just kind of seems like it now, and then we just work our way up the political chain, the food chain.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's good to get a head start on it, and we know how media works. We know how social media works. We know how to talk to people our age and how to make a difference. I just feel like we have the best tools right now to make the difference that we want.
Right. It's different coming from somebody, hearing that message from somebody our age than it is
Mm-hmm.
Hillary
Clinton.
Hillary Clinton, maybe.
Yep. All those Bernie and Hillary memes, like the side-by-side one.
Yeah, it just...
Did you ever... Yeah.
It's much easier to take that kind of message from even somebody like Obama, who I think when he ran, he was like 45, 46.
Mm-hmm.
Or 48. Somewhere around there. He was in his 40s.
Yeah.
It's much easier to take somebody like that who at least has a youthful vibe than it is Hillary, whose youthful vibe is like curated by her 19-year-old intern who runs her Twitter.
Yeah.
Not that there's
Howdy,
anything
kid.
wrong with that, but she also didn't win, so we can poke fun at it.
Yeah. So sad.
So
I'm
what do
still with her.
I saw her speak. She came to USF for a speech, and I still can't figure out why she got so much hate for not being engaging or not being warm. She was great. I saw Trump speak, and I was much more fired up after Hillary spoke than seeing Trump speak.
Yeah, I wish I could have gone to that, but I have a crazy lady for a boss who also voted for Trump. So if I had told her why I wanted off, there was no way I could have gotten it. But yeah, there was also an extra credit opportunity where we had to go see Trump speak, but I did not take advantage of that.
They turned it into extra credit?
Yep.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, they do extra credit for all parties.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think there was another one where you had to go see Marco Rubio speak or something, and you still got extra credit.
We had Obama was supposed to come speak like in September, but then he got rained out by a hurricane. Biden came and spoke. Yeah, I know. Biden came and spoke in Tampa, like 20 feet from campus. Somehow USF just forgot to tell anybody. And it was like a classic Biden speech, too. There were a bunch of memes came out of it. He did like some kind of glasses flip. Needless to say, I've never been more pissed in my life.
Flip?
Like, you know his aviators? Like his trademark aviators?
Yeah.
He did some kind of...
He
did something with them that turned into a meme. and I missed it, and he was 20 feet from where I was. Yeah, I'm still salty about that.
Yeah, that's very disappointing.
But moving from why we should get involved in activism to this current wave of activism that's kind of been inspired. Well, no, it's been completely inspired by Trump. Do you think it's sustainable? The kind of energy that's out there right now?
I think, in part, I think it definitely has to be modified because there is a lot of new wave activism and I guess you could say neoliberalism where people are looking down on others because they don't protest the exact way. And I'm not obviously I'm not condoning violent protesting. I hate that people do that in the name of the Democratic Party or,
right.
millennials. But there are other things where people get upset about the whole white feminism, which I'm about to sound like a total asshole. But if you do not like the way that somebody is fighting for something, tell them. Do not just make fun of them on Twitter. Because for me, I mean, obviously I was a little white girl from Naples, Florida, and I was like, yeah, feminism, woohoo! And then I realized, hey, maybe you're not including transgender people as much as you should. And it took somebody to say that to me for me to truly understand. And it's the only way to get things done. You have to include everybody to make a real difference. And I knew that. It wasn't in the forefront of my mind. So I think that if we continue to shame people, then those people are going to get discouraged, because I have seen that with myself and with other people, like my other peers. I've seen that they've gotten discouraged and they don't want to fight anymore because they don't feel like they're doing good enough. So I think that we should be more inclusive of all activists and teach them how to be better instead of shaming them.
Yeah, and I think that I completely agree with you, and I think that speaks to kind of a larger problem with the Democratic Party. We've talked about it. I love Crooked Media, Pod Save America, all that. They're insightful. They're funny. They're actually, it makes politics enjoyable to listen to.
Yes.
The only gripe I have with them is that they may not say it overtly, but sometimes there's undertones of kind of superiority over Republicans, superiority over anybody who could think about possibly being a Republican.
Yeah, I actually forced my boyfriend to listen to Love It or Leave It with me in the car ride from Naples to Lakeland. And that was not the best choice because I made him listen to Pod Save America later, and that was a much better choice because obviously...
That's more fact-based.
Yes, and Love It or Leave It has a lot of satire in it.
Yep, just a little bit.
He was not too happy with that because he voted for Trump. But...
Yeah, beating it it's the same thing as, is it really just enough to be against Trump? It's not enough to just kind of position yourself to hold
against something.
Right, the intelligence high ground, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
There's obviously a bunch of people that much preferred Trump's way of speaking, Trump's way of doing things for whatever ungodly reason that is. See, there I go. I just did it.
I mean, he's not an insider, and I can see why that is attractive to people, but at the same time, you cannot be an experienced political chess player, but you can still be a good person, and you can still try to do things the right way, which, I mean, again, I'm kind of doing it too, but there's Randy Bryce out in Wisconsin, the Iron Stash. He's not a Washington insider, but he is killing the political game because of that.
Right.
And he still stands for good things.
Even Obama ran somewhat as a DC outsider in 2008.
Yeah.
So I think I think that is kind of something every politician tries to play into, unless you're just so far inside you can't possibly pull yourself out of that. But I think
you're in the swamp.
Yeah. I think we're kind of in agreement that as much it draws people in and it makes people listen to you and it makes people fans, like Crooked Media has found, and dare I say politically charged. But
Ooh,
I gotta name drop myself every once in a while.
of course.
But it's counterintuitive is the point I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know if that's like a recipe for success down the road.
Yeah, that's, I mean, kind of bouncing off that, also kind of changing the subject, is that's an issue that is present with a lot of today's policies, is that people are only interested in the here and now and what will happen in like the next 2 or 4 years, however long their term is, until it's time for re-election. But they don't care about what's going to happen in the distant future, like even in the next 10 years.
Right. And in politics, 10 years is not distant future.
No, it's not. But I mean, I'm talking people focusing on re-election mainly.
Yeah, that's why somebody asked me this when the podcast started. The first question you get when you go into politics, or I don't know if I'm necessarily in politics, but you get involved in something like this, where you start making political views known. The first question you get like 90% of the time is, do you want to run for something?
Mm-hmm.
And I never know how to answer that.
Yeah.
Because I would never want to be, I want to get involved in politics like to better people's lives. I don't want to get involved in something like the House is set up, where every 2 years you got to raise an ungodly amount of money just to keep a seat for another 2 years.
Yeah, I am in the exact same boat, because, with a political science degree, people either say, oh, you're going to be a lawyer or you're going to go into an elected office. And I would love to be in an elected office, but I don't have the money. And another thing that I don't want to play like I said earlier, the political chess game. I don't want to become one of those people.
Yeah, lose yourself in the process of trying to do whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely get that.
But quick plug, it's funny because there's actually, have you heard of Emily's List?
I have.
Yeah, so it's just kind of ironic that Emily's List and, I want to run for office.
Hey, that's perfect.
Team up with Emily's List.
That's perfect.
Yes.
I need somebody with Jack in their title. But I don't know if Jack anything is going to really inspire confidence in people.
Too plain. But then again, Emily is also a very plain name.
Yeah, but Emily's List kind of like rolls off the tongue. Everybody knows what they stand for, or at least should know what they stand for. Yeah, I'm going to have to start
Jack
that.
Factor.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to work. Whatever you do in politics, don't go into branding.
No. I'll try not to.
All right, so moving on.
I don't know. Trump still gets by with that Comic Sans and all
that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, Make America Great Again. Perfect political slogan. Like, he nailed that. If he came up with that.
Again.
Well, yeah.
He could have just said Make America Great.
Yeah, the again part. Well, okay, I don't want to debate it, because I think it's very obvious where it goes wrong. But, like, that's such a great slogan. It inspires something in people.
Yeah, it does.
People are like drawn to it. I'm not saying I agree with it. Yeah, no, I hate it. But he kind of nailed that one. That's the only thing I'll give him credit for.
I gotta say, I love Stronger Together.
Really?
Yes, I like that. I like the idea of unity. I'm a liberal hippie.
All right, actually, that's perfect. Perfect segue into the next thing. We're going to skip Jeff Sessions, because the more I looked into it and tried to figure out topics surrounding it, the more I realized we're just going to end up making fun of Jeff Sessions and fall into an echo chamber, since Trump's already beaten the hell out of him anyway.
The burgeoning, was that what he used to describe him?
Who, Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. He's using a lot of words, and none of them are complimentary.
Disparaging term to describe him.
Well, I mean, SNL basically portrayed him as an elf, so I don't know how much.
He looks like one.
Low key though. I love SNL doing, I don't know, is it highly disrespectful to have an actress play a man perfectly?
No, it's awesome.
No, okay. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, no, that was poorly worded. Or at least I didn't get my point across.
Misogynistic pig.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I'm leaving this in too. I'm gonna get crap from somebody. Actually, I'm getting crap about it from you right now.
Popularity.
All right. The point I was trying to make was I loved that like Melissa McCarthy was able to play Sean Spicer perfectly, like as well as anybody could have.
Yeah.
And Sean Spicer took it as such a slight. I thought that was part of the funniest part of it.
His actions are so cartoonish. I don't know. I mean, this has nothing to do with Melissa McCarthy. She did an amazing job of playing him. But I feel like he is the perfect character for SNL.
Oh, they're going to miss him so much.
Actions were so cartoonish. The whole hiding in the bush.
Stealing refrigerators.
Yes. God, it blows me away.
Yeah, I miss Spicy. Hopefully he gets a job at CNN.
Me too.
That would be great.
But now we got the mooch.
And I said it on the last episode. I don't know if having the nickname the Mooch in the financial industry is really a compliment.
Yeah.
I feel like people have just accepted it as oh, it's a dope nickname, the Mooch.
Every time I hear it, I think of our fellow classmate whose nickname was Moocher.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about. I didn't even make that connection. Yeah, I haven't seen Mooch in a while, actually.
Oh yeah, every time I see it, I think of that.
That's hilarious. That guy's dangerous, though. He's very smooth.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him.
I just saw him speak in front of a camera, and he does it so much better than Huckabee Sanders and Spicer. That's not saying all that much.
Yeah.
Just that the bar is so low, this man flies over it. It kind of looks mafioso.
Yeah, that's I saw, or on Pod Save America, I think it was, they were saying how he is who Donald Trump imagines himself being. Have you seen that side-by-side video of them?
Yeah, where they have the same hand
motions.
Exact
same. That's creepy.
I love that. Because he definitely studied that.
Oh, yeah.
They don't get that similar.
No, it makes him look more, I guess, reliable to Trump.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what the hell goes on through that man's
Makes Trump look more credible.
Trump's just oh, look at that guy, kind of looks like me. A lot of pointing, a lot of random.
Motions. He's from New York.
A lot of random hand motions that really don't make any sense in context.
And then blow the kiss goodbye.
Yeah, and then blow the kiss goodbye. That was perfect. That just capped it all off.
Yeah.
So right before we end, because actually, oh man, this is 36 minutes. I didn't know we were going to go this long.
I know, I saw that.
Huh. I can live with that. Future of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
Before the election, it was Republicans that were in disarray, or at least that was the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Democrats. We're in disarray. We're currently rebranding our message.
I think everybody's in disarray.
Right, and we were talking about this last night. In a two-party system, there's always going to be somebody in disarray.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose an election you're supposed to win, you're in complete disarray. If you lose a tight election,
if you lose an election
second-guessing.
That you weren't even supposed to win,
you're in disarray. You're crumbling.
Yes.
So, and then you have Chuck Schumer coming out and saying things like, people just don't know what we stand for.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, people who are not within the party do not know what the party stands for. I mean, everybody knows what they individually stand for. But I think that we could definitely use some guidance, or not necessarily guidance, but we need to be more direct with our messaging and say, okay, yeah, we're against Trump, but this is what we are for. This is what we stand for. And we stand for it, and Trump is against it. And that is why we are important. And yeah.
Yeah, I think...
I just think that we need to kind of all get in a little group huddle and put our hands in the center, and then like on the count of 3, say unity or prosperity or togetherness or something.
Just agree on a word.
Yes.
Just find
See, I
one
can't
word.
even do it. How is the whole party supposed to do it?
You make a really good point, though, that it's not really like being against Trump. You have to be right now in the Democratic Party. You should be anyway. Yeah. But it's not enough to like run on. You're seeing Republicans for 8 years. Hell, like a year into Obama's term, you had Mitch McConnell saying his biggest priority was denying Obama a second term. He went on to, of course, get another term. And now they're in power and they're not doing anything with it. They stood for just being against Obama. People don't know why they're against Obamacare. And you're kind of like, oh, well, I think it might have had something to do
They're
with
against
the black
Obamacare,
guy.
but they're for the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, I love that. That irony never ceases to amaze me.
Yes.
And it's always people that are on it.
Of course.
Yeah, they're railing against it. They have no idea it's the same thing. So,
yeah. But I think we just need to get our shit in a kit, to be crude, and just figure out what we can use as a party-wide message. Each candidate can have their own message, but as a party, we need to say, like, we are here to support all people, no matter what the cost. Because honestly, I am a broke college student. I'm working a full-time job and an unpaid internship, and I'm still willing to pay even just a little bit more in taxes if it means that somebody else can get help.
Right, because, it's kind of a cynical way to look at it, but it's still going to come back and benefit you in some way.
Yeah.
Even if you can't get your head around the idea of helping somebody else with just a little bit less money in your pocket, it's going to come back and help you around in some way.
Exactly. And that's like when you put money into your economy, not into the pockets of private citizens, when you put money into the economy through small businesses or through taxes instead of, I don't know how the best way to say this is, but it benefits everybody. You can't just credit the rich and not give anything to the poor, because when you help the poor, they tend to succeed and progress. So
it doesn't make any sense to upgrade
why I don't mind paying a little more money.
The strongest link, economically speaking.
Yes.
You don't become better strengthening the strongest link.
We were our strongest when we had a strong middle class, which is ironic because that's kind of a similar time period to what everybody says, oh, make America great again. He's talking about this time period. And that was when we had a strong middle class. Yeah,
and even then, it trickled down under Ronald Reagan, had worked for a little bit and then kind of imploded. And it took Bill Clinton and Democratic policies to kind of bring the economy back up.
That darn trumped up trickle down.
Trumped up trickle down. Oh, God. I forgot about that line. Oh, well.
Gotta love my girl.
Oh, that's such a disappointing way to end this. Do you have any other Hillary quotes to end this with?
No. I wish I could.
That kind of sums up her campaign.
I wish I could put in a little gif of her like wiggling and smiling. But
during the debate.
Just end with my, yeah.
All right,
end with my little trumped up trickle down.
Anything else you want to get off your chest before I unceremoniously kick you off this episode?
Stay strong, everybody. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep yourself educated. Woo!
All right, I was going to end with get involved, but I like yours better.
Yeah. Involved, education. It's all good.
All that fun stuff. Well, thank you very much for doing this, especially less than 24 hours after I asked you to do it, and with minimal notes from me. We basically just rambled in an echo chamber for a while.
Yeah.
Well, this is what the people want.
All right.
If there's one thing we do at Politically Charged is give the people what they want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just have to feed my ego one last time. And with that, we out.
It's not arrogance if you're right, or if I'm right.